Jocelyn. I use she, they pronouns, and I'm coming to you from my home here in the Blackstone Valley of Massachusetts, where I live with my two cats, Frog and Toad, and my partner David. I'm hoping that I can get this recorded in one go this time. I had a lot of trouble with the last episode. And then I got super busy and didn't even get to upload it for several days. I had a arts festival this past weekend. It's the largest event that I've ever attended so far. It was a 3-day event out in Cohasset, Massachusetts. So I thought I would talk a little bit about that at the end of this video, just kind of share how it went for me. For today, as far as the fiber arts content goes, I have some crochet projects that I actually want to share. I mentioned in one of my first few episodes that I actually had a granny square project that I was working on. It's my first time doing granny squares. And then I have a couple of other crochet projects that I'm working on for a fair coming up this Saturday, which will be in 2 days. Wow, 2 days. Oh my God. I don't have any time to prepare again. So first, to get into what I'm wearing, this is actually a handmade shirt from the arts festival that I was just at. This is the only thing that I purchased from the fair, and I'm really happy with it. I don't, off the top of my head, remember what the woman's name was who made it, and I think I forgot to grab a business card from her, but I will do some digging and figure out who she was so I can put all of her information in the description box, so that you can look her up as well. I love this shirt. And let me actually stand up real quick. I'm finding that, without even realizing, I have a lot of this dusty pink in my wardrobe now. I even found some shorts with like the same dusty pink. So I love the little pockets. And look at the cute little buttons. I think this is adorable. I've worn it twice already, and I've only had it for like 4 days. So that is what I'm wearing. I will make sure that I find out who she is so I can share that. Okay, so I have one finished object, but if you've been watching my previous episodes, this is not really anything new. This was already finished in my last episode, but I unraveled it and fixed it with all of the modifications that I wanted to make, and that is the Karrie Cardi. If you watch my last episode as well, you will also have seen the pink one. I swear, I'm not a pink person, but just somehow I now have a lot of pink in my wardrobe. This obviously doesn't look the best on me right now because I have the thicker sleeves underneath it, but I made all of the modifications. So I fixed the number of stitches that I picked up in the front openings. I fixed the corners. I had too many increases before. I did extra garter on all of the hems. This one is actually a little bit smaller than the pink one. I cast on fewer stitches and just made it a little bit smaller in general because the pink one I found was quite oversized. I wore it to the festival over the weekend and the wind literally blew it off of my body. It was a little big, but it's so cozy and soft, and I actually really just love the way that it feels on me, even with the oversized feel. So I wanted something a little bit more fitted, so I did this. I'm not going to show it for too long because I've showed this so many times already. So the concept was cast on the full number of sleeve stitches and only increase in the body. And that is what I did. I made yarn over increases for all of those raglan lines. And I knit this in 3 strands of this poly, flax, and silk mix. Here, I actually have the little, this is all that's left of the cake. Teeny tiny bit left. And then I also used 1 strand of this off-white 100% cotton. It's actually like the lightest shade of pink possible. It shows up a little bit more creamy on the camera, I think, but it is actually like pink. So that is the finished object, and I'm going to move right into my only knitting WIP right now, which is the redo of the Lenna top. And I cast this on yesterday, and I finished the first triangle, and I got like halfway through the second triangle, not too far yet, so I'll definitely finish the second triangle today, start working up the rest of the body, start the lace in the center. And I think I realized after looking at the original Lenna top that I think towards the end of this garment I got really lazy about undoing the extra twist that was happening in the yarn, because I had 3 separate balls and they were all twisting and tangling together as I was knitting. I think I got really fed up by the end of this garment with untwisting it, so I stopped doing that and I just kind of knit with that extra twist in the yarn, and I think that's why it became so slanty to certain sides. Like some of this is totally fine, and then some of it is like very slanted. So I'm doing my best on the newer one to keep up with the untwisting of the yarn as it comes off the cone, because I still have, I took the leftovers of the, I had caked up 3 strands into 1 ball finally, and I just actually wound that back around the cone, so I'm pulling off of the cone itself. But you can see that there is some twist going on. I don't know if it focused. There's some twist going on in the yarn, so I'm trying to be more conscious about untwisting that as I knit so that it's not a huge bother and it doesn't like pull anything out of whack after I finish it. So that yarn is 100% cotton in the color ginger. I will once again have all of the information on everything that I show in this video. I'll have a lot of information in the description box to share with you, like the yarns that I'm using, the patterns. The next step for this, because I've knit 2 samples now, and I think I'm actually going to do some stash busting and knit 1 more. Once that's done and I really get a good idea for like what the gauge is on each of these projects, I'm going to start doing a lot of research into how to grade the patterns and actually turn this into a pattern. So that's the next step on that. So the granny square project is the next one that I want to show. This is one of the tote bags from Joann's, and I love this pattern. I bought this bag, and then I bought the large one, which is also full of yarn downstairs next to my little love seat that I knit and crochet on and work from. I basically live on that couch. So these are the squares that I've done so far. I think, I can't remember if this took me 1 night or maybe 2 nights. How many do I have? 1, 2. I haven't touched this project in maybe 2 months. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I have 13 squares. So they're all kind of a little bit different. Let me first show you the yarn so that I can then talk about like the combinations that I was doing. This is, is this Red Heart or Caron? Let me show you the one that has the label on it still. So this is Red Heart Soft, and I'm sorry the yarn is all a mess. This is Red Heart Soft in the color Garden, and I found this several years ago. I have a lot of yarn that I bought quite a few years ago. That was on like clearance. They were getting rid of it at Michael's, and I have not seen it since. So I bought a boatload of this yarn. I think I had 4 or 5 balls of it, and I don't remember if I even like really used any of it. So I have a lot of this to get through, and I really, really love this color, all the different colors that are in it. So that's one of them that I'm using, and then I'm using 2 different Caron Simply Soft, one in black and one in this, like, I think it might be showing up a little bit more blue on the camera, but it's actually like a minty green. It's very green in person. I think it's showing up a little bit blue in the camera. But very pretty color. Just kind of like a single single ball that I had in my stash for a long time. This was a stash busting project. I went through a lot of the old yarns that I had bought many, many years ago and just said what goes together and what can I use to try granny squares for the first time. This is another Red Heart Soft, and I think it's just a cream off-white color. Might be called white, not sure. I have it all written down somewhere. I can't remember which color they called this. So those are the colors that I'm using, and I had seen, who was it? Another knitting podcaster. I can't remember off the top of my head, but I'm going to put her information in the description box as well. She is actually the one that mentioned a granny square cardigan project. She had seen it, and it was like a discontinued pattern, and like somebody from Australia who happened to work in a yarn store just like happened to have this long lost pattern and sent it to her. Anyways, the idea was black outlines and like very colorful centers, and they put all the little squares together, and it was like triangle pieces. I'm not explaining it well at all. I will try to find a picture and put it up here of the pattern that she referenced, and I tried to emanate that vibe when I went for this project. So this is just that green, minty green color with the black outline. I just did a simple 1 color square with the, I guess 2 colors because of the black outline. And then I did several different combinations of the mint, the garden, and the white. So I did, in all of these squares, I kept the 2nd and 4th row the same color. So that's one of them. I did another one like this. And I tried my best. These are the few where I actually wove in the ends, because I started this project and I had no idea how to weave in ends for crochet. And I just went for it anyways. So I had to look up a couple videos, see if I was doing it right. This one, did I just show this? Oh no, I didn't. So I played around with, like, I would use 1 color in the center, and then I did, you know, garden in the 3rd row, and then white on the 2nd and 4th, and then I would play around with swapping out those 2 colors on the outside. And I think I did that kind of a combination with each of the colors. So like there will be another, oh, I did this twice. Anyways, I have 2 of these with the white on the 2nd and the 4th row. And I have 2 of these with the garden on the 2nd and the 4th row. I can't remember how I had planned this out in my head. No idea. Oh, I've got 2 of these as well. Maybe I was trying to do 2 of everything. So I did this with the garden color in the center, and then the white on the 2nd and 4th row. How did I plan to do this? I must have been trying to do 2 of each of these, and then this is the only one that I didn't do a second one of yet. Oh, and okay, here we go. Here we go. This was my favorite color combination. So I did white in the center. You can see this is one of the ones where I didn't weave in my ends yet. This one, I loved the white in the center, garden on the second and fourth rows, and then the mint in the third row. Oh, I loved this. So I made 4 of these, and I think it's coming back to me now. I think the plan was I would do half of the squares was going to be this color combination, and the other half of the squares was just going to be random combinations of the rest of these. And just kind of, you know, interchange them a little bit. So it looks random, but most of it's going to be this one, because I love this color combination. I think actually now that I'm looking at it, I actually really like this one too. I really like all of the ones where the garden is in the second and the fourth, and it kind of is like the star of the square. I think what happened is I got a little discouraged because it was taking me so long to weave in all of the ends for each of these squares, that I just didn't pick it back up again. But I really do want to finish this because I don't know if this is going to be for me or if I'm going to sell this one. I haven't decided yet. I guess I'll have to see how the finished product comes out, because if it's really nice, then I will probably sell it. And if there's like too many mistakes and it's kind of like a practice garment, then I will keep it for myself and probably try again. And then that one is hopefully perfected a little bit. I don't really believe in perfect, but it'll be better than my first attempt, and then I can sell that one. And then the last square that I have is just a full square of the garden color. So that's either, I think that's Frog at the door. Maybe you guys want to meet them. All right, brief interruption. Are you guys coming in? Where's Toad? There you are. Okay. So we can say hi. This is Frog. Frog and Toad are sisters, little tabby cats. Frog is the more skittish one, but she's also extremely cuddly. She loves being held, she loves kisses, and when she snuggles up on you, she tends to have to be as close to your face as possible. So she will snuggle on me, and she will like wrap herself around my shoulder, and just kind of sit there like right on my chest. And then Toad, come here. Yes, they're both very vocal. Come here, Toad. Toad is my troublemaker. She eats absolutely anything, including lint and any bug that gets its way into my house. I live alone for the most part. David's only here sometimes. So anytime they hear me speak, they go crazy because it's not often that I get to talk. So you can hear Frog is trying to have a conversation with me. Okay. Is that it for introductions? I think that's it. They really just want to play with the yarn that's all over my floor right now. And they were just excited because of the sound of my voice. They always want to come in whenever I'm recording. Okay. Back to your regularly scheduled programming. And we're back. Okay, so I think I finished going through all of the squares. I know that I have to make a lot more. I have 13 right now. I don't even know how many in total I'm gonna have to make. I didn't do much planning. I just kind of went for it and said I'll figure it out later. If I need to fill in any gaps, I will just do it with the black in between somewhere. So that is the start of my granny square cardigan that I want to make. And I want it to be, I don't know if oversized is the right word. Like I want it to fit properly, but I want it to be like very long, and I want the sleeves to be very wide. I don't know if there's a word to describe exactly that. Very boxy, I guess. Boxy, but also fit. Okay, so let me collect all my squares now. They're everywhere. So the other crochet projects are for the fair coming up this weekend. It is a psychic fair this time. So I have started creating crochet familiars. And I'm going to actually show you the finished familiars first, so you have an idea of what those will look like, because the work in progress familiars look a little like nothing. So I have 4 different designs. I only have 3 of them to show you because one of them I'm in the process of making another one. I designed a goat, a cat, a crow, and a rat for them. So here is the crow. He is a fan favorite. Hopefully that's focusing. Yep. Oh, he actually shows up on camera kind of nicely. Oh, that's nice. Usually because he's black, such a dark shade of yarn, when I take pictures of him, he either has to be by himself or it usually just doesn't work out at all, because the yarn has such a hard time showing up on camera when I take photos. So what I do for these guys is there's a little crystal inside. So there's a clear quartz that comes with each of the familiars, a little pentagram on the bottom, and then they're fully customizable as well. So you can have herbs added to the stuffing. And I think I have 5 different herbs downstairs that could be added to the stuffing. So there's the crow, and I actually have one more to show you. I do little albino ones as well. And I will link in the description where I got these eyes, because I had such a hard time finding eyes to put on these things, especially because I do everything last minute. So I had a really hard time finding eyes. And then on the albino ones, I use this little beige color to do the pentagram on the bottom. And I think this guy is so cute. Look at his little beak. I love these. These are all designed by me. I spent a long time coming up with like how to put these together, and the patterns. So I have all the patterns written down. I don't know if it's something that I want to sell as a pattern. I think I would rather just make them myself and sell the familiar as a finished object. I think that's what I prefer to do. Okay, so after the crow, we'll show you the little cat. And I had a hard time with this guy's face. What happened? I think I put the nose on, and I put the whiskers on, and I stitched on the nose, and I was looking at it and I was like, this thing looks like a mouse. And then I put the ears on, and then it finally fell into place that it actually looks like a cat. And then she's got her little tail, her little paws, little pentagram on the bottom. So this is the light gray color. And then the goat I was doing in a dark gray color. I'll get to this in a second. I'll show you the last one that I have here. And this is the rat. And I think this is so cute. Look at the teeny tiny tail. I am so proud of this. So this is a little albino rat. I think it's adorable. Okay, so for all of these projects, I have been using different colors of this, what is this, Loops and Threads Woolike. And it's actually extremely soft. I really like this yarn. Very, very fine. I think, what size hook am I using? I know I went down a couple. This recommends a US size L or an 8mm crochet hook. I think I used like a D. I think an L is way too large for this. Why does this say L? Oh, please excuse me, that was for the recommended pattern on the label. They recommended a size L. So this actually, the label does recommend a size E, which is a 3.5mm hook. And I did use a size D, which I'm sure is a 3mm hook. So that's what I used for this. And to show you the works in progress, this is what I mean by it looks like kind of nothing. So I do it where this is the head, and then I crochet the whole body straight down from the head. And normally what I do after this is I will stuff both of them. I'll stuff the head completely, stuff the body like halfway-ish, and then I will do all of any kind of like accessories that are going on the head. So like this is another crow, although I might turn it into a rat. I think I might do a black rat because I already have 2 crows. This was supposed to be for an order, and then it got canceled, so I think I might actually do a little black rat. So anyways, I will put the nose on, I will put the eyes and the ears and finish the head completely. And then I will do the arms, because I do one arm, finish stuffing the rest of the body, put the crystal inside, then do the other arm, and then I'll do the pentagram and any tails. I think they all have tails. Yeah, all of my patterns have tails. So, and then I'll do the tail last. So it's basically just an empty pouch right now. Oh, I'm really blowing out. Yeah, it's just an empty pouch. And then this is the goat. For which one was it? I think the goat and the cat have the same arms. Like all of the heads are the same. And then the arm holes for the goat and the cat are the same. And then it's a little bit smaller for the rat and the crow, just because, I mean, they have smaller arms. So if you look at it, like the cat is much bigger than the little crow arm. I think it's just so cute. So proud of myself for that. So, and then I have the little nose for the goat is done. I usually do all the little accessory parts first, and then once I finish with the main body, then I can just start stitching everything on. But I am very lazy and I procrastinate to the last second. So now I have 2 familiars to finish in the next 2 days. I think I can definitely get it done, but at the same time, I would much rather work on my Lenna top. So those are all of the projects that I have finished or am working on. So I wanted to talk a little bit about the arts festival that I was just at. So it was the South Shore Arts Festival, the 67th annual return. They hadn't done it for the past few years because of COVID. I guess it was just a little too unsafe to have such a big festival. Although I did hear that this year was a little bit smaller than in previous years, but I still thought it was fantastic. I had a really good time there. I went with all of my traditional artwork that was more farming and gardening themed, and I also do my readings there as well. I brought some of my knit garments, the summer hats that I made. So I had a really good time. I ended up selling quite a few originals, and this is actually the first time that I've ever sold an original at a fair. So I sold Braided, which is a braid of garlic. I will put it, I think, up here. I usually put it. I'll put the images up. So I sold Braided. I sold another painting of mine that I did earlier this year called Edge of the Forest. And that was a very small one. I think you'll notice that I've signed it Ellen Joss, because this was right before I decided to change my business name, and I was signing everything as Ellen Joss, but I now sign it as Jocelyn. So the other couple of paintings were actually from a collection that I did last year called the Hive Collection. I did 10 little lady bees, and I painted them on 4x4 acrylic paper, and I sold 4 of those. So 4 little lady bees found a new home. I was so excited. So now there are only 3 left. What else? I did a lot of readings, some very interesting people that I got to meet at that fair. It was so fun. I always have so much fun meeting all the new people, hearing a little bit about their lives, because I feel like that's just such an interesting feeling to experience. I think they call it Sonder, is like realizing all of the intricacies of everybody else's lives out there in the world. And it's a feeling I really like experiencing, and I get that a lot with my readings, is like understanding how complex everybody else is on top of the complexities of my own life. It makes me feel a lot smaller in the world, and I kind of like that feeling. You know, I don't think anyone should be so big in this world, because the world is too big for that. It's just not possible to be that big, and I like feeling a little bit smaller when I get to hear about other people's lives that I've never met before. And then what else? I did sell one of my summer hats, so that was super exciting. A lot of people really liked the hats, and I was actually 2 spots over from the woman who was selling her handmade garments, and a lot of people came over and was like, oh, your hats would go great with some of her things, and so I just thought that was really cute. Besides this, I only bought kettle corn every day. The first day there were 2 places that were selling burgers, and I tried both of them because I love cheeseburgers, and I really wanted to try both of them to see which one I preferred. They were doing a strawberry festival, I think they called it, but I don't know if they were selling fresh strawberries. I never got a chance to like really go around and look at everyone else's stuff. Very briefly on the first day. I had finished setting up a little bit early. It started at 1 o'clock that Friday, so around noontime I kind of went around and poked around at some of the other vendors' tents. There was some beautiful artwork. I took a couple of pictures. There's one woman, and I'm so sorry I forget her name, but I will look her up, and I will make sure that her information is in the description box. She had a giant painting. Actually, I think it might have been pastels. I don't think it was paint, but it was beautiful. It was a giant barn owl, and I love owls. I have up here, I have all of these little figurines over here. That's my collection of owl figurines. I have a wall downstairs where I collect owl paintings from different artists that I really like. So I have a ton of owl paintings on my wall already. I mean, this painting would take up my entire wall and I'd have to move everything around, but it was so beautiful. A little out of my budget at the moment, but maybe eventually it'll be something that I can save up for. It was just so beautiful. I saw a few owl paintings at that fair that I really wanted. But again, no budget right now for artwork, unfortunately. There was actually a woman there who was doing art quilts, and it was so incredible. I'm just like, I'm so in awe with people who do art quilts, because it's something that I've always wanted to do, and I've just been so afraid of getting into it so far. But maybe one day. So she paints the fabric. She does painted fabrics, and then she pieces it all together to form like paintings with quilts. And it's just, I mean, it's the coolest thing ever. And she had a couple of owls. She had a lot of nature scenes and just really beautiful work. There was a lot of handmade pottery there. I'm trying to think of some of the other things. Again, I didn't get to see all of the vendors, so I don't know exactly like what other kinds of things, but there was definitely the pottery. There was some jewelry. I was right next to a jewelry stand. I was also right next to a woman who does sea glass art, and it's some of the prettiest art you'll ever see. She doesn't use any paint whatsoever. I think at this point I could deliver her spiel that she gave to everyone that came into her tent because I heard it so many times. So she has 2 different canvas sizes, so only 2 different price points, and she sketches the image on canvas, and then she uses tweezers and glue to place the sea glass. And it's all like local scenes to the South Shore, so a lot of the people that were coming in recognized a lot of the lighthouses and the other local scenes. I'm not from the area, so I didn't recognize any of them, but they were beautiful. A lot of like popular buildings in the area and stuff like that. So it's so funny because you can see people walking by her tent and like they think it's a painting, and then you get up closer and you can see it's like popping out at you, and it's all sea glass. So she said that she had a collection, a 20-year-old collection, and she was finally using it to create art, and it looked fabulous. I loved it so much. I don't think that there are any other tents that I specifically remember, and there are a few that I just missed completely. There was one painting in the juried art painting that I saw that just absolutely blew me away. It was a 24 by 36 oil painting, and it's this girl out in a field, and she's like playing with her hair a little bit, and you would have thought it was a photograph. It was so beautiful. I did take a picture, so I will put it somewhere on my screen. So stunning. It's so incredible. If you ever have an opportunity to go to an art fair, you absolutely should. The work there is just so incredible. I love seeing all of the things that other people create. It's so inspiring to me. Like, I came home and I had so many new ideas. And speaking of, I actually just remembered that I did a finished painting. Let me go grab that. All right, so this painting is another large one. I've been feeling like painting large lately, and I usually do very small paintings. But this idea came to me the other night, and I don't remember what happened that inspired it. But I got this image in my head of a pond with lily pads and lotus flowers, except the lotus flowers were chickens. So let me scoot back again so I can show you completely. So this is Lotus Chickens, and I am just so in love with this painting. It's already hanging in my living room. I have a very light blue paint on the walls in my living room, and this just fits in so wonderfully. And you can see I've signed it Jocelyn instead of Ellen Joss. I had to go out, so I didn't know if it was a crazy idea. So I slept on it, and then I woke up and I was still thinking about Lotus Chickens. So I went out to Michael's and I bought the canvas, came home, and did the painting right away. I can't remember how long it took me, but one of the most fun paintings that I've ever worked on. And I still tried to keep the theme of, let's see if I can get this in here, multiple colors in each brush stroke. So you can see like the chickens, I dipped my paint into the white, but I never wiped it off from doing the lily pads. So it has a touch of green in it, and then I did the same thing with the other, oh, I'm having such a hard time. I did the same thing with the other chickens. When I did the white highlight, it still had some of the pink colors in it from doing like the beak and the comb. And I'm just in love with this painting, and I almost hope it doesn't sell because I'm really enjoying having it hanging in my living room. If it does sell though, I would have to scan it in so I can make sure that I can make a print at least just for myself. But maybe if other people enjoy it too. I think I might actually do a bunch of these. I think that would be super fun. I loved painting this. I'm not usually like a pond scene kind of person. Like, I feel like I'm not the best at painting water, but I don't know. I think as long as you like mix a lot of colors in, get a lot of variety in the water, I think it looks good. So I don't know if I'm really an expert at painting water, but I think that came out really nice and I'm really proud of it. I think I'm gonna do more Lotus Chickens. I think that would be super fun. Okay, that I think is officially everything I have to share. I'm looking around to make sure I didn't forget anything. Yeah, that's everything that I have to share today. This actually ended up a little bit longer than I thought it would be. I didn't think I was gonna have enough to do like a 30-minute episode today, but I guess I did. So you can also find me on Instagram as All We Make Is Good, and my Ravelry is now under All We Make Is Good. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here with me today. I hope you enjoy the rest of your afternoon, whatever that entails, whatever you have planned for the day. I hope you enjoy it. Bye. It's been less than a week and it's like I forgot how to record a podcast. I don't think there exists a state where my hair isn't a mess. I think the answer is no. Okay, today I'm talking about that should be a quick one.